Okay, hi everybody. So this is instructions for how to disassemble a robot for the University of Michigan College of Engineering eecs200 class, and this is so that the robots can be put back as kits for use next semester. So here we go. Okay, so this is generally what a robot will look like when it's been assembled by the students, and we need to take it apart and put it back so that it is a kit that the next semester students can use. So generally speaking, we take it apart in reverse order from how it was put together. So step one, we remove the camera. So the camera is often taped on in some way, so we will just remove the tape and throw that away. And this is the camera, this is the connection. Find the box for the camera. We'll put the camera in the box and put it back in the kit. Okay, so if there's a battery, remove the battery, put that back where all the batteries go. Okay, so we also need to remove the top plate as part of this step. So remove the screws. There may be from 1 to 4 screws. Make sure that if all the screws are not with this robot, that you replace the missing screws for the kit that you will be creating as you do this. The top plate goes right in the box. Okay, so for these 4 screws, get the BeagleBone blue box. It should have the software in it. If it doesn't, put it in there. It should also have an empty bag for putting the BeagleBone blue in, but don't do it yet. And it'll also have another empty bag for the mounting hardware. So these 4 screws go into this bag because all this mounting hardware is related to the BeagleBone blue. So put that in there, and you can put that aside for future use because we will not be taking the BeagleBone blue off quite yet. Okay, so now we would like to do the next step. At this point, I will tend to take the power sensor and remove that because it's so easy, and remove any tape that they use to put it there. Take the power sensor, goes in the kit. Okay, so now we should do the thermal sensor. So the thermal sensor needs to be removed from the BeagleBone first, so the data, and if there were any, very likely there were some wires that went to the breadboard from the power connector out here in the front. So we need to remove those, and data. Keep those cables together. We are going to use a small plastic bag to put all these in. So put the cables in this bag, and if there aren't cables, or if the cables are looking ratty or something, you have to repair/replace as needed. Okay, so at this point you can also get a new board, an empty board like this one, from the from the station in the middle of the room that has all the other parts for this as well. These will tend to be in a big bag on the top, so that goes in this bag. And from the sensor out in front, you can also remove these two components here, the op amp and the thermal sensor. Put those in the bag. Also, from the chest of drawers in the middle of the room, you should find two of these 2-pin headers, right angle headers. So put those in the bag as well. And now we can remove the mounting bracket from the robot. Those two screws go in this bag as well. Now we remove the board from the mounting bracket. And those two screws and nuts and mounting bracket go in the bag. Like that. And so now that has pretty much everything they need except whatever's in the drawers in the middle of the room. So package that up, put it in the kit. The old board, just pile them up. We can use them later for something, maybe demos, things like that. Okay, so we've removed the camera, we've removed the power meter, and we've removed the thermal sensor. So now we need to remove these sensors. So they would normally have a whole bunch of cables between the sensors and the breadboard, and maybe some extra cables. So at this point we want to take all those extra cables and these cables. So take the extra cables first, put them in their own plastic bag. Then the best thing to do is to take an empty big plastic bag like this and put all those cables. So these are the 4 cables. These are the 3 sets of 4 cables, and each one is 4 that connect up to our sensors. Put those in this bag. Now, if they've done something where they've ripped these apart and they're no longer together like this, I highly recommend you go find some more jumpers to use so that they're connected this way. I think it helps make things a lot neater for everybody. Okay, so the other cables you put in the other plastic bag. This goes in this plastic bag along with the data and power cables that were attached to the Beagle Bone. We put these in this same plastic bag. So now we are left with this. So I will take off the Arduino right now. Put him back in the box that he came in. I will use a screwdriver, go underneath, gently pry it up a little bit, and then go to the other side, pry that up a little bit, otherwise you'll bend the pins. Now he just comes right off. Put him into the anti-static foam, close them up, put them in the kit. Okay, so now we need to take all this apart. So step one is to just remove it from the robot entirely. And again, we're going in the opposite order in which we built it. Okay, so now that assembly comes off, we have these 4 bolts, screws. We're going to take a small plastic bag and we are going to remove these tall spacers so that we can put all this mounting hardware in the same bag. Okay. So put the 4 screws in there. And then each one of these, I put my finger on the bottom to hold the nut from moving. And I just unscrew it from the top. Now, students may not be as neat, may not make it this way. Who knows? You just have to go with it. So that's all the mounting hardware that goes into that bag. Now that bag goes into the bag with all those cables. Okay, put that aside and deal with the sensor assembly. So this next step is to take all the brackets off of this top plate here. Put the sensors with the brackets aside. We'll be taking those apart next. These are often on there a little tighter, so you may need the screwdriver. Try it and see. Okay, so another plastic bag, put all this mounting hardware in there. I haven't figured out a way to make this quicker. I generally have to do one bit at a time. Okay, so that's the mounting hardware for the brackets. I'm going to put it aside. I'm not going to put it in this plastic bag yet because I'm going to put the mounting brackets in there once I get them off. Got another empty plastic bag for the mounting hardware for the sensors themselves. And now these, we're going to use the pliers to make it loose. And then we're going to use our finger on this side to hold the screw from turning. And we'll use our finger on this side to turn the screw. And then we have to get the screw out. Alright. Same thing for all of them. Try not to lose any of these little teeny nuts or screws. So okay, so I'll put these here and these here. Eventually they go in those bags along with the hardware used for mounting them. So again, loosen the nuts on this side. Hold with your finger from the other side and unscrew the nuts. Okay, we're getting there. One more set. And hold from one side, unscrew from the other. Hold from one side, unscrew from the other. Okay, so now we take all that mounting hardware, put it in this empty bag. Don't lose the little teeny screws. If you do, there's a Pololu box with all the mounting hardware, all the extra mounting hardware that we have, and it's got a bunch of little teeny screws and little teeny nuts that go with them. You can find them in that box. You can also find all the other mounting hardware if you need it. So there's the little teeny mounting hardware. So these go in that bag, since that is what is used to mount these. Seal that up, put it in the bigger bag. Whoops, I missed a screw. Yeah, be careful. Okay, put that in the bag with the rest of this. Take the mounting brackets, put them in the bag with the mounting bracket hardware. Seal that up, put it in the bag. Last but not least, we take this and we do not try to remove the breadboard. Right? It's basically on there with some self-stick stuff. If you try to rip it off, you'll just destroy the breadboard. So just leave it in place and squish it in there as best you can. And we're done. We can put that in the box. So now we're left with the ball caster, the wheels, and the beagle bone stuff. So at this point, I will tend to do the beagle bone first. So step one is to remove all these cables from the wheels. And this may tend to be difficult, so you have to kind of do it back and forth like this. Sometimes it'll try to pull the socket with it, and you may have to hold that socket down while you yank. And even if that doesn't work, you may have to put the screwdriver on the top of the socket and then yank the cables out. Again, back and forth, back and forth. Out it comes. And if that one needed it, probably this one will too. Okay. These other two, they don't tend to need such niceties. You can just yank those out. Okay, so get the plastic bag with the 4 screws in it already that were holding the top plate in place. We'll use those. Use that bag to hold the rest of these pieces of hardware. So take out all the all the aluminum spacers that are holding the beagle bone in place. One at a time. Okay, so grab the anti-static bag for the beagle bone and put him inside, holding the power end basically, right? The 12 volts, that's the easiest end to hold. Put that in, put it in the box. So we put it in the box. Put the software in the box, and then remove the rest of the mounting hardware. One by one. All going into that same bag. So that's all the mounting hardware for the beagle bone. Seal that up, put it with the beagle bone, close the box, put it in the kit. Okay, so let's do the front ball caster. Basically you need to undo these two screws, two nuts, and I tend to use my fingers to loosen it up the rest of the way if you can. Sometimes the screws don't hold still and it can be a pain. This ball caster is in the way for holding the screws in place. Okay, so that gets you your ball caster. Find yet another empty plastic bag. Put the ball caster in there with the two screws, and of course the nuts. Put it in the bag. Okay, now we have the motors to deal with. So for this one, we know we need to have a empty plastic bag, big plastic bag for the motors, and a little plastic bag for all the mounting hardware. So let's deal with the mounting first. So we try to hold that screw as we undo the nut on the other side. It can be difficult. Take it and slowly, carefully take it out. Notice as we're doing that one of these wires is no longer connected, so we'll put him aside for fixing. Meanwhile, we'll take the hardware for the mounting bracket, put it in the small plastic bag. Do the same thing with the other motor. Carefully thread those through the hole. Take the mounting plate, put it over there. Take the mounting brackets, put them in the bag. Hi. Take the motor, hopefully it's not broken, put it in the big plastic bag. Now we got to fix the broken motor. And that's pretty much it for taking it apart. Hopefully it's as easy for you, but very often there will not be parts. You will have to go find them, fix them, whatever it takes. So good luck with that.